Look, I don't usually talk about anime on this channel, but when I saw the first episode of this show, I knew I had to make a video. So welcome, everyone, to Lazarus, a fast-paced, action-packed gem created by the legend himself, Shinichiro Watanabe, who is most known for shows like Space Dandy, Samurai Champloo, and one of my favorite animes of all time, Cowboy Bebop, and animated by MAPPA, the studio behind Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan Season 4, and Vinland Saga Season 2, just to name a few. So with these powerhouse juggernauts behind the scenes, we were all ready for this masterpiece. But if you've never heard about this show, let me explain it to you and what we're gonna be talking about today. The year is 2052. An era of remarkable peace and prosperity prevails across the globe. The reason for this? Mankind has been freed from sickness and pain. Nobel Prize-winning neuroscientist Dr. Skinner has developed a miracle cure-all drug with no apparent drawbacks called Hopna. Hopna soon becomes ubiquitous and essential. However, soon after Hopna is officially introduced, Dr. Skinner vanishes. 3 years later, the world has moved on, but Dr. Skinner has returned, this time as a harbinger of doom. Skinner notices that Hopna has a short half-life. Everyone who is taking it will die, approximately 3 years later. Death is coming for this sinful world. And coming soon, as a response to this threat, a special task force of 5 agents is gathered from across the world to save humanity from Skinner's plan. This group is called Lazarus. Can they find Skinner and develop a vaccine before time eventually runs out? I remember seeing articles and videos about this, like, yo, the creator of Cowboy Bebop is making another show, Studio Map a new banger, yippee! So I always had my eye on it, but nowhere did it say the release date. So I just left it at a back burner until one day I was just doom scrolling on TikTok, as most of us do to survive this heat, where I found a video by Adult Swim where I was like, yo, the first episode is out. So I decided, fuck it, I'ma watch it. I got nothing better to do. And what I got was one of the best opening episodes I ever watched. From the action to the animation, the music, I mean, if you're a fan of Bebop, this will definitely be up your alley. The second half of this episode was just pure hype, like one of those parkour videos you see on YouTube, just like on 5 grams of TRT. After that, I was hooked and was there every Sunday morning to watch it, and after last week's episode, I watched the whole show again just for this video. Now, it's kinda hard to talk about a show without telling you what happens in it, so if that synopsis or my explanation of the first episode got you hooked, go ahead and watch it, then come back to this video when you finish the series. This is your official spoiler warning. Okay, let's go. To start with me telling you why you should watch this show, I wanna start with the strongest trait of this show, which is the characters. We got Axel, Chris, Doug, Elena, Leland, and the leader, Hirsch. They're all ex-criminals who have been brought together to find Skinner, and if they do, they will be free from prison / any punishment they were facing. With various personalities being from Axel, aka the modern Spike, with his way of fighting and charming words being very reminiscent of him.
What's the matter? Aren't you here to dance with me? Come on now, you better hurry or you're gonna miss your chance.
Chris, aka the blonde Black Widow, Doug, aka the too cool to have fun guy, Elena, the hacker lady with the absolute worst username I've ever seen.
Huh? Mad Screamer?
Leland, honestly, I don't know, he's just there. He dressed like a girl once, that was hot. And Hirsch, she the boss. I just love how Watanabe writes characters, and especially in this, because we don't get a lot of details about any of these people. We just get tidbits here and there, and it leaves it all up to mystery. And I saw some people have a problem with that, but to me, I don't really care. We had so many shows where the characters are blander than boiled chicken, and some people would call it anime of the year, but this one doesn't have that. You get explain who these characters are later in the show, but honestly, to me, it wasn't necessary. Don't get me wrong, it was cool, and it helped me care about these characters a little more, but it was not needed, not gonna lie. It's a pretty basic formula for a show, and it worked very well in making this series into the showpiece that it is. The story of the show follows a very simple episodic nature, where every episode they get a lead on where Skinner might be, which leads them into various places, and it always gets them into some trouble. But they're always one step closer to finding the doctor. Every episode takes somewhere completely weird and unique, where it'd be 10 minutes away from the homeless shelter in Pakistan, Istanbul, a literal middle of nowhere in some bunker, a town that is 90% in the ocean, and many more weird adventures. I think the story is also one of its best because it's simple. Look, I watched a lot of anime, and so many stories start off like that. It's just a simple goal of something, whether it be to save the world, to kill your enemy, or get some tuna, but it always always strays away too much from what it was supposed to be. Some of the time it works where we see the characters grow, change, develop into something different, and it turns out into something beautiful. But most of the time we get lost into a world where one second we're eating fingers to save mankind, the other second we're simping over the guy with white hair and blue eyes for 20 episodes. I mean, are we serious right now? Even though this did happen, it wasn't as nearly as bad as that. I'm gonna explain that later. Next banger topic about this show is the animation. And just like my Indian DoorDash driver, Studio Mappa delivered once again. I've seen complaints about the animation, saying that it's not as good as Bebop and they cut corners way too much, but I don't know if we watched the same show, but I got no issues with it. The shit is clean in my opinion, but maybe because I don't care that much about super well detailed animation that it wasn't a problem though. Not gonna lie, I didn't even notice being worth called out for. The animation industry is notorious for having one of the worst human conditions on the planet, so I don't mind animators trying to cut corners using the same frames and rushing a little bit just to finish a product. Just wanted to point it out that you'll never hear me complain about the animation of a show, because to me it's not that big of a deal. If the show has peak animations but the stories and the characters are ass, I'm gonna call the show ass. But if the characters and the story is peak, but the animation is okay at best, that show is peak. That's how I view it. I mean, you have seen footage of the show on this video, so you be the judge. And also one of my favorite things in this show is the fighting. And I'm not just gonna ramble about it, just take a look for yourself. But this won't be just a glaze session. I have a couple things to talk about that I minded, but there are very little that it didn't really ruin the show for me. First of all, this guy. We get introduced to a man named HQ, a sort of secretary manager of a high-skilled assassin named Soryu, who are the same person by the way, that is hired by the government to assassinate Axel because he's the only survivor of the experiment that they did on him while he was in jail. And after some negotiations and a small amount of $30 million later, he goes out to kill him. But in the process, he gets flashbacks of his childhood years that were wiped from his memory after seeing the necklace that is around Axel. And after 2 mega hype fights versus him, we get a full picture of his childhood, what he's been through and the people who he has killed in order to become this mass monster. So you might be thinking, what is the problem with this? It's just a villain in the show. Well, because this happens around the end of the show, we get kind of distracted of the main story of finding Dr. Skinner. The focus gets more shifted onto him instead of Skinner. The world is legit coming to an end, and the show is more focused on this random assassin's backstory than the world ending. In my eyes, this all could have been a lot better. Maybe it could be a villain of the week, or just an episode, or better yet, a bodyguard of Skinner of some sort. If you wanted to save the world, you have to defeat him. I mean, that would be hard, like a fight with the best assassin on the planet in order for you to save the world. I mean, just throwing out some ideas, you know, studios hire me, I got more in the vault. And the second thing that pissed me off is this. Look, I don't know what happened across the couple of years, but I feel like every single show has to have some sort of romance in it, even if it doesn't make any sense. I understand romance is a big part of everyday life, and it happens everywhere, and I'm not against it being in what I watch. My problem is where it straight up doesn't make sense. The kiss scene is in the 12th episode and was like a Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere. Like nobody expected it. And no, that is not a good thing. You have no idea how much that pissed me off. Just give us a tease, give us a hint, give us something that someone likes someone. And the perfect example is the Spider-Verse movies. We're probably gonna see a kissing scene in between Miles and Gwen, and that's okay, because it's expected. We obviously know that Miles likes her, and the movies have given us more than enough proof of that. When I watched Lazarus, there were literally 0 hints of Chris liking Alex. Legit nada. They were the most platonic ass conversations I could think of. So why did this scene happen? Like the same thing that happened in X-Men 97, that Wolverine and Jean kiss. Absolutely the same thing, just completely unnecessary. Like I expected this shit in like Total Drama Island or like those awful reality shows to stir up the pot and make some drama. Not from the people who made Cowboy Bebop and X-Men Orange. To get back on track, in the final episode they found Dr. Skinner. hiding in a homeless shelter, after finding the only person who knows his location being this girl in Pakistan named Popcorn Wizard, letting Alina know where he is. And after coming back to their town, they find him, after which, as promised, he told them the cure of Hapna, saving the world, but in the process, asking him why he did what he did. Why did he create Hapna knowing that in 3 years it will kill everyone who has taken it? His reasoning, his lack of faith for humanity. See, throughout the show, we get flashbacks to two particular events that happened. One being the airport terrorist attack, and the second being the sea ice melting due to global warming. The government was trying to use his research to create bioweapons for the military, but Skinner didn't want that, and after countless and countless attempts for them to stop, he failed, so he tried to flee to Europe. But when he was in the airport, the army was called to investigate, and with an accidental shootout with the airport police, Skinner's suitcase blew up with a strange gas, killing tons of innocent people in the process. After which, his lack for humanity slowly started. And a couple of months before he introduced Hapna to the world, he held a press conference to warn the governments from all across the world about the ice melting in the Antarctic, and how in 3 years they're gonna start melting. But they didn't give a single shit about it. And as we see in episode 7, his warnings were true. So after introducing Hapna, he disappeared only to come back to warn them that he'll die in 30 days. But as we know, they caught Skinner and the world didn't end. But instead of ending the squad, they got asked to continue the Lazarus project to save other world's problems, opening door for a potential season 2. And for me, I think it's unwanted. The show didn't let the story grow for other opportunities. It was mainly around Skinner. And after that, in my eyes, it's kinda over. I think what they're trying to go for is like a JoJo-esque vibe, where every season is a different story, different villain, with some of the same cast, introduce new people, and just keep the show rolling. But Lazarus has to put on some royal flush level of hand if he wants to play like that. And let's be honest, Lazarus is not on that level. Yet, who knows? It's still in the early days. We only got in 13 episodes, and with no manga to go off of, it's kinda hard to see what Watanabe and the gang has got in their pocket. But yeah, I think this is all I got to talk about. The stuff I really like, the stuff I found a little bit annoying, but in the end, I really like the show, and it's worth the watch in my eyes. It's a fun story with awesome fight scenes and cool characters. What else do you need? I didn't mind the animation, or the cast, or even the pop culture references.
What a great idea, just like Spider-Man.
Seems like the kind of place where Batman would live. That's cool. We're like the Avengers or something.
So yeah, I'm Spaceman Dino. Thank you for listening to me rant about a show most of you have watched or haven't watched but decided to watch this video. I know some of you motherfuckers made it all the way till the end without watching it. I can feel it. Don't worry, I'm like that too. It's all good. We'll keep it between us. But yeah, hope you enjoyed.
What's that?
A good luck charm. This little angel here is always keeping me safe.
What?
As long as I have this on me, I feel it.